It's showtime. I think that's going to be my intro from now on. The Denver Nuggets are down 0-2. Nikola Jokic is down 0-2. And on this lovely day, I sit here as a member of the media, coming to you with a microphone, because you're not going to get an opinion that is straightforward today. Because, and I know this isn't making a lot of sense right now, but just bear with me for a second. Everyone and their mother loves the Denver Nuggets. Everyone and their mother preaches the Denver Nuggets. Everyone and their mother thinks the Denver Nuggets are the greatest thing in the history of life. Everyone thinks Nikola Jokic is the GOAT of basketball. Okay. Well, they're down 0-2. They looked beatable. They looked embarrassing. They looked rattled. Yet all year, the media has tried to make claim after claim that just because Denver isn't playing good doesn't mean they're not the defending champs and they're going to go all the way. All year, the media has been ignoring the fact that Denver actually isn't that good. Denver, look at their run to the NBA Finals last year. They played a young and inexperienced Minnesota Timberwolves team in round one. They get a poorly structured super team with the Phoenix Suns. They had to trade for Kevin Durant mid-season. That roster sucked. And then you get the most tired version of the Los Angeles Lakers. And now you get to play the beat-up Miami Heat, who just went through the gauntlet of the Boston Celtics. Like, let's pump the brakes on the Denver Nuggets. I get they won a championship. I get that validates a lot of things. But you still got to do the next year. You still got to play the next regular season. You still got to win the next championship that you win. You can't just cruise to it. Denver is facing adversity at an all-time high right now. They are at a mile-high club of adversity. No, that didn't work. That did not work. Nathan, how you doing, bro? All right, let's just bring him in.
What is this disrespect? Are you saying that the Nuggets? Am I waking up?
All right, so everybody, I want y'all to sign up for SoBet. Use code Jackpot and make sure you understand Nikola Jokic is the most underrated basketball player. Actually, not underrated, overrated. He's the most overrated basketball player in the history of life. Derek White is underrated. But I'm sorry, Denver is down 2-0. Everyone's talking about the Denver Nuggets. They're unbeatable. They're the most beautiful team in the history of life. And then on the other hand, you got Anthony Edwards, who's the next Michael Jordan. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, this is me 2 years ago when the Warriors played the Celtics in the NBA Finals. It's like a lose-lose, win-win. It's like this dude's going to shine while this dude's going to fail, and you're just going to have to address both parties. And Nathan's talking in the chat right now saying, am I good? And I just kicked him out. I kicked him out after 12 seconds of being in here, because as a matter of fact, you come in here and you try and disrespect the fact that I'm trying to disrespect Nikola Jokic. No, this episode is about disrespecting Nikola Jokic, because, fella, I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to disrespect Nikola Jokic in this manner ever again. They're down 2-0. They just dropped both games at home. They're absolute booty trash. And Jamal Murray is having an absolute mental breakdown. Nathan, good morning. I'm sorry.
But wait. Aside from that, Jack, am I literally hearing you say that the Denver Nuggets had a Mickey Mouse championship last year?
It was one of the most overrated championships in NBA history.
Stop
One of, not the. It probably wasn't labeled as the Mickey Mouse championship, but man, we jumped to this conclusion with Denver so fast. And just 2 years ago, I witnessed Stephen Curry lead a team past Nikola Jokic's team. So I'm thinking to myself, you can't improve that much from year to year. And maybe you did. Maybe Denver got that much better last year. But I just didn't buy it. I never bought it. They played the Heat in the finals. We had the Heat cooked if Tatum doesn't roll his ankle. I know how many times I say that in a given, year. But the media can't win in this situation, Nathan. And everyone's going to try and do the backpedaling, the bullshit. No, I'm not tolerating that, bro. You either pick Anthony Edwards as the next Michael Jordan, or you pick Denver as the best super team that we've ever seen, and Nikola Jokic is the next GOAT of life. You can't have both of them.
Well, what did I say? I said
And I'm not
Nikola
talking about you
Jokic.
specifically. I'm
There's
talking about the media, by the way.
got you. But this is like still going back to what I said. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the only team. I think they are the Denver Nuggets kryptonite. And now that they're 0-2, down 0-2, like shit is getting real, bro. Like it just hit the fan. Like just in one night, like we went from we got a series, they're up 1-0 to look at you at the start of this episode. It's just like you saying, "Oh yeah, Denver's cooked. They're
No,
down
no,
0-2."
I did not say that. I didn't say that. Maybe I said that. Go look.
Yeah, you said all sorts of that.
I don't think Denver's cooked, bro. I'm gonna sit here and say that I think Denver still wins the series. But you go down 2-0, the media is gonna react a certain way. I know you're making a face at me. We'll explain that comment in just a second. Can you understand that the media is gonna do everything in their power to win in this situation? And they can't, because they got themselves in this situation. You talked about Denver the way you talked about them all year, and then Minnesota gets to play Denver, and Minnesota looks like the better team, and Minnesota looks like they got the better superstar. And so what do you say about Denver right now? Because I think last night was the end of the Denver Nuggets in many ways. It was the end of this. Nikola Jokic is the face of the next best thing, the greatest basketball. That shit is over with, bro. We as a community proved last night that Nikola Jokic is stoppable, and that the Denver Nuggets are stoppable. And more importantly, Jamal Murray is a whining baby. And the entire Denver Nuggets team, when they face adversity for the first time in their entire lives, they crumbled. They absolutely shit the bed and crumbled and looked like a JV team in the first half. They were throwing heat pads on the floor.
What do we think about? Yeah, what do we think about Jamal Murray? Should he be suspended? He's not going to get suspended just because
You're not going to get suspended, especially down 2-0, and the world loves the Denver Nuggets. I've been saying this for a very long time, that the refs are always trying to do the Denver Nuggets justice and make sure that the Nuggets get every little call their way. What I saw last night from Michael Malone in the first quarter, it made me lose all respect for referees, if I ever had any respect for referees. Michael Malone, the coach of the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I know, but what do you mean? How does that tie with the referees?
He ran out onto the court, into a referee's face, started screaming at him. We know the words that came out of his mouth, whether they were clean, whether they weren't, looked like they were a little dirty. Regardless of the situation, if you're anyone in the game of basketball and you go up to a referee and you start screaming in their face, and he didn't even get a technical, if you don't get a technical there, what are we doing, NBA? Are you trying to make Denver win? Are we trying to create this bias for Denver? Are we trying to let the referees decide the game for themselves and not actually the players? It was one of the more embarrassing moments in the game of basketball I've ever witnessed. It just can't happen. It was a coach yelling in a referee's face after all regular season. All I saw was Jason Tatum go to the ref and say, "What was that call?" And he goes, "You're gone." Or Draymond Green, little pat on the back, and he goes, "Suspended for 12 games. Like, keep that same energy. If the defending champion Denver Nuggets head coach wants to go yell at the referee, keep the same energy for him that you do for Jason Tatum when they yell at a referee. That's all I'm going to say. But Wolves in 5? I don't know.
Wolves and shit. Well, it's going back to Minnesota. Bro, you know what's crazy? Like, I don't even think this, like, I can't wait to talk about Indiana and New York because that game was even crazier. But sticking on this series, like, Anthony Edwards is as legit as they come. Like, I don't know what the formula is for. Well, I mean, I know what the formula is to beating the Timberwolves in general, but I don't think the Nuggets have that right now because Nikola Jokic is he's so he it reminds me of like the 2018 Cavs. Like he just doesn't really have any help, you know? He's LeBron on that team. Like he can't deal with those 7-footers all by himself, you know? He needs another tall monster on his team. Aaron Gordon, sure, but Aaron Gordon doesn't really play the tall role, the center role, the number 4 role as a number 4 role should. Aaron Gordon has a very specific and unique play style that you can't really mimic down the stretch. He can't guard Naz Reid. He can't guard Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert. Nikola Jokic can only do that. So whenever he said in that post-game interview after game 1, I have to clone myself to beat these guys, I completely understand. And that is the only way you can. And that is why I'm very, very scared for the rest of the series. I think the only way the Nuggets win this series is if Nikola just turns the hell up and averages 40 or at least 35 plus for the rest of the series.
It's funny when you see these Europeans get a little extra pep in their step when it starts to really matter. Like they just play with such a calm, cool, and collected lifestyle and play style. And then they get into the playoffs and they get down 2-0, or it's a 1-1 series, or it's a late fourth quarter. And you just see a different play style out of these guys. And it's very similar, but there's a pep in the step. When Jokic is down 20 points last night in the first half, you're like, Jokic is trying now. Holy shit. Like he's going at the rim. He's doing like there were a couple of moves where they were down 20, so it didn't even matter. But he gave a little, pump fake, and his footwork's so good. I understand what people see in Jokic in terms of his dominance. He's a dominant basketball player. It might not look like it with his athleticism. He's a dominant basketball, but you don't have to be athletic to be dominant. You just have to control the game. You just have to control the pace, and that's what Jokic does. But this Minnesota team is doing everything to force the ball out of his hands. That's how you stop Jokic. You get it out of his hands. There was a play last night where they double teamed him on the baseline. Jokic rolled under the baseline and made a throw with his right hand to a corner 3, and the guy hit the 3. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, the guy hit the 3. They're down now 22 points instead of 25 points. And I'm like, bro, if that's the play that it's going to take for Denver to actually score the basketball, y'all are cooked. Minnesota's got it figured out. You're right. Because if you just double team Nikola Jokic, Denver's weak. They don't have, you can't rely on Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to go get you a bucket. But I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses about Denver doesn't have enough guys or Denver doesn't have the buckets. Like, bro, we've been talking about how Denver's so good all year. What are you talking about? Why are you backtracking on the fact that now Denver doesn't have a good team and it's just Jokic?
A good team against the Timberwolves. He can't guard 3 7-footers, bro. And Aaron Gordon can't play his role. Aaron Gordon, sure, he's a big man, but the only advantage of him being a big man is that he could do a crazy dunk on a fast break. He can't really play defense like that, like the same way. I mean, I just don't think that they can match up with them height-wise. But obviously, the Nuggets have a very talented roster. I'm not trying to contradict that statement. I just think the Nuggets are unable to.
It's a mismatch.
Match up with them on the defensive side of the basketball, and that's why, that's exactly why last night was blowout. And there was no Rudy, which is the even crazier part. Yeah. Rudy had to go see the birth of his kid, and of course, man, Twitter. I love Twitter. I'm never deleting Twitter in my life, bro. It was like motherfucker, bring your kid to the game. Like, put me,
bro. They're giving birth to the kid, bro. You can't just pick it up. It's not even here yet.
Yeah.
But that's a great segue into today's special guest on the Morning Jackpot. Listen, fellas, we brought y'all someone very special. He's had a lot of very good days in the green recently. We were showing him on SoBet yesterday, talking about how he's giving y'all the good D. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Nasty.
Not the good D talk. Are we talking good D or what?
We
Yo,
talking
good
good
nasty?
D, my baby. We talking great D. I love to have you on here. I hope you're doing well. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, living the best life I can, right? That's all you can do.
Mhm.
Doing what a degenerate's always done, right? Make money, try to live good, have some drinks, eat good food, and then do it all over again.
Mm. That sounds like a hell of a lifestyle to me.
Type shit.
Nasty, I appreciate you coming on here, and we're gonna talk, little NBA. We had a couple games last night that I think were very interesting and could be talked about. We previewed them a little bit here, but also got two games tonight. You got the Celtics versus the Cavs. You got OKC versus the Mavs. Two second-round matchups starting up. But before we get into those, I want to get your thoughts on the two games from last night. We'll start with the Knicks versus the Pacers because I thought the Knicks would kind of cruise in that game and find a way to win fairly easily. The Pacers seemed to control most of the game, and New York just found a way late to get it done, and that's become a little bit of a trend here in the playoffs. But are you like impressed with what you're seeing out of the New York Knicks, or is this more just like Jalen Brunson is allowed to take 45 shots a game? They're kind of rolling, they're kind of getting easy opponents, and now here we are, and they have a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals if they just beat the Indiana Pacers.
Sure. I mean, they're doing they're doing what they've been doing all year with Brinson, and I mean, Jalen's just doing whatever the fuck he wants out there. If I was the coach, I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna find a way to get the ball out of his hands, and if someone else drops fucking 40 on me, so be it. But let's see if that can happen first of all. And if not, all these teams keep doing the same fucking thing. Pick and roll at the top. Jalen fucking makes a switch, and then it's just one-on-one. Jalen does a stupid step back, and it's fucking, he's like you said, he's shooting 45 times. The kid is sweet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating at all. I'm just saying, I can't believe no one could figure out how to fucking get the ball out of his hands.
Well, Minnesota just showed us how you can get the ball out of Jokic's hands. So you can't get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. Like, you just got to double team it. But Brunson is very smart. You could tell he's a Villanova point guard, and that's kind of probably what makes him so great. But he's also a dog. He made some tough shots last night. He's made tough shots all series, in the previous series. And I expect him to be the X factor and reason why New York finds their way to the Eastern Conference Finals before they get swept by Boston. But do you think
the problem is, let me tell you this. Let me interrupt you real quick. Is that the NBA is disgusting for the way that game ended. Like, no one wants to see the fucking an illegal screen when the whole I can take you to every fucking NBA game this year. We could turn on, you could just randomly pick any NBA game and I'll show you fucking 20 illegal screens. 20 in one game. And then the one, I don't know if you've seen it, the one, there was a screen right before that, right before what's the other kid's name from Villanova that hit the three?
DiVincenzo or Hart?
Who?
Hart?
No, it wasn't Hart.
Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo, whatever. I can't even say his fucking name. That's why I asked you guys to say it. Anyway, the kid just set a horrible fucking screen before that, rolls off and gets open for a three. Saying, if you go back and watch it, it's just the most disgusting thing. And that's not even my point. My point is it's a one possession game. You cannot let the refs need to just swallow all whistles unless two guys get tangled at the rim and both guys fall and it's obvious fucking foul, then you got to do it. But until then, you got to nobody wants to see the game in like that. What the fuck are we watching NBA for? The whole game, people paying money, eating fucking $10 hot dogs to go there and watch the whistle at the last 10 seconds of the game. It's just, it's disgusting. I mean,
it reminds me of the women's college basketball game in I want to say it was the Final Four, UConn versus Iowa this year. And UConn had a chance on the last possession. Iowa's up 1 with Caitlin Clark. And all of America wants Iowa, right? And so,
yeah, for sure.
And you get an illegal screen, and it's like Andrew Bogut literally made millions of dollars by just illegal screens in Golden State with Steph Curry.
For sure.
There's not, you can call the illegal screen, but there's a time and a place for it, and it was a ridiculous move. I thought the referees, maybe it's just the last couple of years, but I think it's been in the history of life. They are the worst things in existence. And watching Minnesota versus Denver last night, you could see Denver kind of start to get a little rattled with how the refs were calling the game. But you bring up a good point, which is the referees just got to not make calls. They just got to
you got to disappear. You got to disappear and let's see what happens.
Let them play basketball, right? And so
yeah,
when Minnesota and Denver in the first half, not a lot of calls are being made. Very physical. Obviously, Minnesota is a defensive, physical team, got into Denver really early. And Denver probably didn't expect that punch because Minnesota's up 1-0. Like, is Minnesota just the better team? And do we see who the better teams are when the whistle isn't blown?
Right. Right now with Minnesota, the Minnesota game. And here's the other thing. I'm an old school dude, and a lot of times old school guys don't like to see change. Let me be the commissioner. I would say no more screens in the NBA. You guys want to be talented? Like, no, really. I'd say no more screens. Screens are illegal. And let's see, like, no, really, because what happens is the NBA is so built from top to bottom. Your point guard is blazing fast and can shoot from all over the fucking court. Well, what happens, the screen, or if there is a screen, let there be at least a legal defense. Either take away one or the other, because what's happening when Steph Curry has a matchup with the fucking center, it's over. Like, it's like, I'm just trying to say, let's have more productivity. And I'm the same way with MLB, and I'm not going to switch subjects, but I can make MLB the most best game you'd ever watch in your life if you let me just control the fucking rules of that game. But anyway, back to Minnesota. Minnesota is playing like, you guys got to remember, I've watched NBA for 4 decades, right? Minnesota is playing basketball like you would have seen in the 90s. They're playing hard. They're running. They're the defense and the intensity, the physicality, everything. And if you look at Denver, the only one who's matching that is Joker. Mm-hmm. He's trying his hardest. He's trying to bulldoze through guys. This guy has no help. Murray, thank God, Murray. I faded Murray twice. His points under. Murray's not who you guys think he is. Murray needs this kind of NBA to thrive. But right now you're seeing lockdown defense on this motherfucker, and he don't know what to do but throw a little fucking pussy fit over there on the side, throwing shit on the floor. He's looking at the refs every call. But that's what you're getting. You're getting Denver. You have 2 different games. You have Denver, who's looking at the refs, begging for calls every single play, and you have fucking killers on the other side that are just like, you know what? Let's take this fucking game. Let's ball out and let's not worry about shit. And that's what the difference you're seeing right now. It's not about talent. It's about one team is hungry, super hungry, and the other team is just fucking, their bellies are full. They got MVPs. They got NBA championships. They're all overpaid. They're all over fucking, everyone's hyped them up. And now they ran into a fucking pit bull. That's what you're seeing.
So is Denver done, or do you think they can find a way?
Oh, Denver's done. Denver's done.
They're cooked.
I didn't put a bet, and I told everyone, I put it on Twitter. You could go find my Twitter. I said, don't be surprised when Denver loses in 5 or 6 in this series. Did I place a bet? No. And the only reason I didn't was because I'm not that big of a future guy, just because I don't like to tie up people's money, because I feel like if I put in the bet, I got to show it to everyone. And I feel like we tie up money. I'm not that big on tying up money. But I think Denver's smoked. I mean, they got swept at home just now. They lost home court advantage plus some.
Before the series, my opinion on it was Denver's going to win the series, but it's for the taking for Minnesota. It's right there for them. Why? Because I saw how Denver played against Los Angeles. And if the Lakers can look better than Denver, then Minnesota can sure as hell look better than Denver. And it was also like the play styles of Jokic versus Anthony Edwards. I'm almost always going to favor the guy that plays like Michael Jordan instead of Nikola Jokic. You know what I'm saying? Do you see you bring up the 90s, you bring up Minnesota kind of acting like this 90s squad. Is that a hint towards the fact that you think Anthony Edwards is the next face of the league and he's, basically a new incarnation of Michael Jordan?
Absolutely. And they're doing really good making sure this dude, and he's embracing it. I don't know if you saw last night when he did he's backpedaling and he did his hands like this. I mean, that's a classic Jordan after hitting 6 threes against Portland. You know, he's just trying to show and emulate, like, listen, you guys want to call me the next GOAT? I'm here to fucking take it. And if you saw in the last round, KD, for KD's legacy to let fucking Anthony Davis just fucking smash that dude. He smashed. He wasn't just dunking, dropping threes, step back twos, doing whatever in the fuck he wanted to that Suns team. Was complete embarrassment for Kevin Durant's fucking legacy, Booker's legacy. I mean, if you want to throw in everyone else into that fucking pile, you can, but he sure in the fuck did show that, hey, I'm here. I mean, think about it. The kid's only 23 years old. Or 22, I think. And he's just fucking doing whatever in the fuck he wants on the court. And now you got everyone, ESPN, Barstool, everyone's embracing that this guy's the next Jordan. So, and I mean, he fits the bill. I mean, he has everything, all the tools you need.
My guy Nathan in the middle here, he's always trying to play the role of the Ant-Man, Jokic lover, and Tatum hater, because, you know, we all know how I feel about Jason Tatum. But
sure,
when Anthony Edwards sweeps Kevin Durant and the entire media just freaks out about it and acts like he's the next Michael Jordan, I'm kind of fully in agreement with it, because I'm all for that, you know, giving the player hype and kind of buying that stock and watching the greatness of Anthony Edwards over the next 10 to 15 years just completely develop. But I also wanted to point out that Jason Tatum did this at 23 years old when he swept Kevin Durant 2 years ago. And then in the second round, what did he do? He played against the defending champs Milwaukee Bucks, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was supposedly at the time the best player in basketball. So Minnesota and Anthony Edwards more specifically are in similar situations to what Boston and Jason Tatum had to go through when Tatum was really young and kind of becoming the star that I think he is and the superstar that I think he is. Edwards, in order to gain the flowers, has to beat Denver, and they're up 2-0 now. So the second they do beat Denver, and then you get either Dallas or Oklahoma City, I'm looking at Edwards as the next face of the league, along with Jason Tatum, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Tatum is now not the face of the league. They can coexist. As a matter of fact, I think we're watching the next Michael Jordan. We're watching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in their primes play at the same time, in the same era, in the same NBA. So what the hell is that going to look like? Kobe Bryant,
nasty. Get a load of this dick rider, bro.
Yeah, no, I know this guy. I've been around Jack for a long time, and this motherfucker does love to stroke that shit dry. Not even lubed it up. Now listen, here's the thing about Tatum, right? Tatum is one of those guys. Listen, yeah, next time at least spit on the motherfucker before you start fucking stroking that thing. Listen, Tatum. The problem with Tatum is he's too quiet. He's not vocal. When all these commercials, listen, my personality, and if God would have blessed me, and that's all it is, you win the genetic fucking lottery when you're born. That's all it is. I mean, anyone could learn to fucking, if you're 6'8" and you could jump and you could fucking, you know, you got the long arms and whatever, you just won the DNA contest and you're in the league. Everything else after that, you could be taught. The problem is he's too nice, he's too quiet, he's too just in the like. If someone started showing all these videos of, oh, he's the next, I would be on Twitter saying that dude ain't shit. That motherfucker ain't shit until he comes and sees me. Something. I mean, he's just kind of there. Let's see if he shows up tonight. He's gonna play with that stupid jughead kid of his that is annoying as fuck on the court. Like, leave that kid at home. Jesus Christ, leave that fucking kid at home. You know what drove me crazy is when he had that fucking kid with him 24/7, and I had my money on him to win the fucking NBA championship, and him and Brown just fucking folded like cheap $2 lawn chairs, dude. And then he's still out there with that fucking kid. It annoyed the shit out of me.
Fucking Deuce Tatum, man.
Yeah. No, listen. And if you want to know the truth, I think Boston wins the championship this year. I do. I think they win. I always tell everyone, in my experience in life, watching sports, betting on sports, been doing it 30 years. And before the 30 years, I was doing it just as a kid. You have to almost get there before you get there. You almost see that. Never a time like someone just come out of nowhere and they just automatically, like, surprisingly win something. I mean, you might have seen it with the Vegas Knights last year, but even the year before that, they got pretty close. You know, they looked good. They're moving in the right direction. I can't see like OKC. I can't see the Wolves just out of nowhere this season showing up, and then just winning it all. Like
This has been a
can't.
build-up. It's been a build-up for 3 years, I think.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
Honestly, since you drafted Tatum and Brown, but you had to get through the Kyrie days. You had to get through, all the struggles of who's your point guard. And now you kind of have the foundation of Drew Holiday, Derek White, obviously Kristaps, but it starts with Tatum and Brown. And I completely understand you have a little sour spot for them if they let you down in that finals. And they let me down. They let me down big time. But all I was thinking about when you were going off on that glazing rant is when we were in the Nashville house and you told me, like, you know what, every time I see you, all I think about is the fact that you got that mic in front of your face and you're just deep throating it, talking about Jason.
Yeah. I even did a parody on you. I did when I did the. You said it. I was holding the mic and I'm like, "Oh, Jason, yeah." That's what. Every time I see a video of yours, you're caressing that fucking mic, talking about fucking Jason Tatum. I'm like, Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Mamba.
Yeah, the Mamba, right? I'm just waiting for one day you just mouth that motherfucker.
Oh, fella, he wins a championship this year, and I will. Listen, what does happen? What do you say about Jason Tatum if the Celtics do win it all this year?
I mean, you then you could start talking. Right now, he ain't shit, right?
Yep.
I mean, anyone that I think, well, I can't say that. I mean, there's been a lot of guys there's only been a few that haven't won it and are still one of the greats. But I mean, we can't keep sitting up here saying Tatum's this, Tatum's that. Now, I mean, we've built a team around you. You got you a decent center that could hit you some threes. I don't know when is he supposed to be back?
It was like a 1 to 2 week thing, might be 4 to 6 weeks. It's all dependent on the injury, but it's the same as Giannis's injury. So it's just going to be a day by day thing. I hope the organization doesn't lie to us the way that Milwaukee lied to us. So then I lose money on Milwaukee, but
sure.
It is what it is. But
right now they don't need him for the Cavs. That's
no,
for sure.
We do not. I don't even think we need Kristaps against New York. It'd be nice, but you just want Kristaps back for the NBA Finals because this team, this team without Kristaps can win the NBA Finals. You want Kristaps, you want your best lineup out. I think this is the greatest starting five in the history of life. You want your best possible starting five out there when you get to the NBA Finals. But against Cleveland, against New York, Tatum and Brown is enough.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to predict something right now on this show. Right, I think it's going to be just me sitting in the nosebleeds looking down at the NBA playoffs. I think it's going to be Boston against the Wolves, and you're going to get everything you fucking wanted. If Tatum cannot overcome and what's building up against Anthony Davis, and maybe this is the new fucking the new rival of the league, right? You're gonna have a hard time coming up on fucking podcasts, always slobbing fucking Jason Tatum if he can't beat Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first person to tell you it's gonna be hard for me to get in front of this microphone if he doesn't get it done. But this question is fascinating because someone said, if Ant-Man wins us this championship, will you admit that he is better than Mickey Mouse Tatum?
Yeah, you have to.
I think that's one of those where
because there's no more excuses.
No, that's the head to head. You get Tatum versus Ant, then it's like the teams go out the window in many ways. Obviously, the team support is very important, and it's Boston versus Minnesota. But the media looks at it and says, this is who's the next face of the NBA, Tatum or Edwards, because that's what the media wants to talk about. They want to talk about the individual players and, who's the next Michael Jordan, who's the next Kobe Bryant. And that would be the greatest NBA Finals in the history of life. And I'd very much appreciate.
Well, I mean, I know the Mavs. I know everyone's overlooking the Mavs, and Luka and Kyrie can just do their damage also. But and that might be also a fascinating series there. But I mean, this playoffs. Let me tell you, the NBA. The best thing the NBA could have done is last night. I know they didn't swallow the whistle, and they didn't do it in that last game with the Cavs. There was over like 70 fucking free throws. I don't even know how many free throws were shot, but lately they've been swallowing whistles and letting these guys play, and it's almost comical because these guys turn into big fucking crybabies. They're used to being pampered with every touch, and these refs are just looking at them like, dude, keep going, move on, And that's what used to make the NBA great. I know you guys are young, but I used to go to the games all the time in the 90s, and it was bloodbaths, like guys just getting hammered and the ref saying, get up, let's go,
So what do you say to someone, and by someone I mean myself, that says we should cancel the 90s game of basketball and 2000 and up is respectable. 2024 is the best era of NBA basketball, but the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, it's all trash.
I mean, you got to be a defense. I like to see bodies hit the floor, right? And I like to see that there's the play keeps, like, what happens when two bodies hit the floor and the play keeps going? It's entertaining. It's more entertaining to me than someone, Steph Curry going through a screen and just shooting a three. Like, okay, that's great. But what happens when three guys go into the lane, they meet at the rim, no whistles called, they hit the ground, and the ball's going the other direction? It's chaos. It's mass chaos. You're seeing it. Just like in this game last night. Like, it's just people are all over the place, and the game keeps going. Imagine watching a movie. I like to think of the NBA and sports as a movie. And every time a whistle's called, you're pausing the movie. Let the movie just go. I want to see what happens. Let's see what player. Yeah, let's see what player pushes through, right? Let's see what characters developed. And right now, out of Denver, you're seeing poor character. Murray looks like the biggest pussy you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, Denver looked like they don't know how to lose. Denver doesn't know how to face adversity. That's what it looked like last night. But apparently, you're getting some positivity in the chat. This guy is wise.
Yeah,
anyone ever tell you you're wise?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, only when I'm sober. When I'm drunk, when I'm drinking, you've seen me drunk. We're all fucking talking shit and doing the wrong thing. But yeah, only when I'm
Cowboys money line. Cowboys money line.
Yeah, Cowboys money line. Eagles money line. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got 2 games tonight, so we can kind of give out some picks for the games tonight, and then maybe talk a little NFL, NHL. Obviously, my Bruins are doing very well right now and had a big win last night against Florida. So we can talk a little bit about that. But first, we got Celtics versus Cavs, game 1. Nasty, your kind of initial thoughts on this, and should Boston just come in here and win this game by 25 tonight? No other expectation?
Absolutely. And if they don't, they're not doing justice to anyone. I got Boston to cover that 11.5. I mean, if you're gonna sit there and think that Mitchell's just gonna fucking be Jalen Brunson, I don't see it. Like, I know he's done a few things, but I mean, you're talking this Cavs team that went into the Magic and a couple of games that didn't they lose by 15, 17? What the fuck are you gonna go into Boston and compete? If Boston don't just step on their fucking throats from the get-go and are up by 20 at half, I would be disappointed.
Yeah. No, and I think Boston's a team that's going to cover these spreads. They did the last 3 games of that Heat series. They have their moments, though. They have their mental collapse. You can kind of expect one a series where it's just like, is this the Boston Celtics, or like, what the hell are we watching right now? Game 2 against Miami was like, bro, Miami was horrible.
Well, if you go back into history, you'll always see that the better team, especially at home in the playoffs, if it's going to be a collapse, it's going to be game 2, right? Because you already showed dominance in game 1. Now the other team, it's all about momentum and all that shit. But right now, there's no time to play with these Cavs. You got to show them, like, listen, we're 3 steps above you, even though we're all in the NBA and we're all in the playoffs. We're 3 steps above you, and we're going to fucking just show it right from the get-go. If they sit here and just patter back and forth, just shooting threes and not playing physical and shit, don't be surprised if Cavs win 2 of these games and it closes out, in 6. But they should sweep these motherfuckers.
Yeah, and I think that's the objective, especially with Kristaps being banged up. You just want to get as much rest as possible, and I'm almost confident that I did say earlier in the episode that I'd love to have Kristaps back for the finals, but the idea of having Porzingis back against New York in an Eastern Conference Finals, like, if I'm Kristaps, I don't want to miss that series. I live for that type of series. You get to play the team that drafted you, and you get to send them home, probably on their home court in game 4 with the brooms out. I mean, nothing gets better than that. But Nathan, you got any thoughts on this Celtics versus Cavs games tonight, or Celtics in 4?
I already said, I think you're a little too confident in this series. I think the fact that there's no Kristaps Porzingis is definitely going to cause you guys some trouble. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are going to give you guys a run for their money. And I think the Cavs are going to take, I mean, I already know that the Boston Celtics aren't very good at home. So they'll probably drop one game at home, one game on the road. I think it'll go to 5 or 6. Give me the Boston Celtics in the series overall. I'm not going to bet against the Celtics. I feel like that's just stupid. But I think the main method is like the Cavs are going to go as far as Donovan Mitchell's going to take them. Now, the question is, how far is that going to be? I don't know. We'll see. Give me the Celtics tonight, though. You definitely don't want to start off the series down 1-0.
Nathan, are you tired of throwing away your hard-earned cash?
Dude, I'm so fucking tired. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. The amateur bettor just doesn't understand. You're giving Vegas the win every week by picking random teams and relying on luck. Every single day, a roster of over 50 vetted sports handicappers, the best of the best. They're on SoBet. They're on the SoBet unique feed, exclusively on SoBet's unique feed. Take Parlay Poppy. He was up over 110 units in March. Or what about Hobby Capper? 17-6 to start the MLB season. And you can't forget about Gutsy Picks Cash, up over 100 units in the last 2 MLB seasons. And obviously, Nasty, we got him on the show today. Everyone's saying he's an expert in the chat, so you might as well go check him out on SoBet. We'll pull up your stats in just a second, but I believe you've been very, very green, to say the least, over the last, what is it, like 2 weeks, basically?
I was on a 12-day green slate yesterday. I did a correlation play in soccer, meaning I needed both teams to score.
Yep.
That would have put me up, and it would have kept me at bay, because I'm like a dangerous dog. Okay, like you let one dog run past the gate, I might try to snap at it, and if I miss, I'm going to jump the gate, and that's what I do in sports betting sometimes. If I miss early, I get aggressive, and I ran into that day where I ended up making a little bit of it back, but I ended the 12-day winning streak yesterday. So, but it was a good run. 12 days, I'll take it.
That's definitely a hell of a run. I'm sure you get this question a lot.
Yeah.
But for Nathan more specifically, because he comes on here and he's like, I got $1 in my FanDuel account, or I just lost $200,
Yeah.
So he comes on here and he's struggling a little bit. Is there a piece of advice you would give Nathan in this very moment in terms of sports betting and how to maybe become like you?
Well, what happens is when you're young, and I was there too, you got to remember, I lived in Vegas for 10 years. So there's many times I would walk out of that casino and just go find a curb, sit there, and wonder what the fuck. And I didn't have no tools. You got to remember, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have nothing. So I'd leave and I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I'd circle around and I'd be burning up in fucking the streets. And it just, and then I'd go find another $1 and walk back in and try to do it again. Right. But you youngsters for real. You youngsters actually have it a lot better. Like, you guys have tools, you have mentors. Like, there wasn't a lot of guys. Like, I'd have to go talk to old dudes that were sitting in the casino, like, and hopefully they talk to me and get. But now you guys have podcasts, you guys have YouTubes, you have people that are teaching you bankroll management. You had, it was a wild west. Yeah, you have SoBet though. Yeah, the best. Like, you pay a few bucks. You get on there, there's tons of information being put out, especially like me. I put out spreadsheets, cheat sheets, plus my picks. There's systems now, there's data, you got algorithms, you got everything. So there's no reason you shouldn't be doing some bankroll management's the number one. Bankroll management. First of all, you start off with a pot of gold and you say, listen, this is all I'm willing to lose, right? And then you do your percentage, right? 1% of that is a 1 unit. You guys both know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. But the other thing no one ever talks about is a professional sports gambler. I don't care if it's in craps, blackjack, sports betting, is you have to have a goal or a stopping mark. Meaning every day you should be able to say, this is how much I want to win in a day. Once you hit that, you got to just stop. You got to turn off the phone and just stop. Now, do I follow that practice? No, because I told you. No, listen. The reason I don't follow that is because I do have money nowadays, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm saying people that are on a budget with this shit, and that's 90% of all people in the sports.
That's me.
I could throw money around and know that it's coming back from another direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I have streams coming in from different. So if I want to get crazy one day, I can, because I have more money coming in. But for the normal dude that has like, dude, I get paid on Friday, I'm going to spend a little bit of money. You got to be disciplined. You have to, or you're going to have a lot of sick nights. You're going to have you'll be eating ramen. I ate ramen for like 5 years straight. So, it's no fun.
We on them food stamps and shit, Nasty. It's got to get better than that.
Yeah, there we go. There's the sick cash duck. Let's check this out. This is SoBet.io. Make sure you use code jackpot to go sign up. But
get on Jax.
We're checking out. Listen, I'm not here to promote my picks. I'm here to promote your picks, Nasty. You're the guy of the hour. So look at this right here, going in fucking circles.
Yeah, there was me. Did you see that? Watch. Go back to that one.
This one?
No, one more down. Right there. Look, if you look down that aisle, that's me throwing up in Miami.
He goes, me in Miami when my daughter gave me a gummy.
Yeah, my daughter gives me a gummy, and I'm over here trying to cap games. I had to leave South Beach, find an alley, and they're taking pictures of me, and I'm throwing the fuck up. Yeah, that's like midday too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was fucked up.
That's great. So your strategy on SoBet, like a lot of people on there, they might just, give out 3 to 5 picks right away at the start of the day or right before they go to bed or whatever it is. And you're more of a, rapid fire, live bets, this, that. Like, what's your strategy on SoBet, and like, how do people profit from your strategy on SoBet?
Well, sometimes I'll put out, like, if I'm real confident on a play, like from the get, I'll put it out, right? I'll put it out and I'll say, this is what I'm going with, especially if I want to catch it early and I think that the line's going to move. 80% of my other plays, I like to be able to kind of gauge where the money's moving. I like to look at social media. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you for instance, right? Everyone on SoBet, all the pros, and I'm not saying anything bad about this because sometimes I fall into the category too. But if you see everyone lining up, like everyone was on the Knicks last night. I think they were on -5.5. Did the Knicks cover?
No.
Okay. That sometimes you have to look at that, and there's 2 things you got to do. You either got to walk away or you got to fucking take the other side. It's easier to walk away because it's really hard to fade people that think they know what we're doing. And we're all saying, yep, it's the Knicks tonight. But when you start seeing all that line up, it's something scary, because usually we can't, and then the public money's on it. And then you're like, okay, what the fuck's going on? All the experts are on it. All the public's on it. And usually the result is what happens. So that's what I like to look for. So to answer your question, everyone's always like, Nasty, why don't you put out a full slate at 8 o'clock in the morning? Because you got to look around to see what the fucking chatter is. You got to see where the money's coming in. You got to see if there's any crazy movement. There's been a million times I put money in at 8 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, a player gets scratched or something stupid, or,
No, dude, we had the entire show yesterday, and we talked about the 2 games that were going on, and the consensus was Denver's going to win because they lost game 1, and the Knicks are going to cover a 5.5 point spread because the Pacers aren't that good and the Knicks are at home. And those were kind of the reasonings, and there were obviously more reasons, but me and Nathan had a full hour show talking about it. And then at the very end, we both hop on SoBet to see what's going on. And I'm scrolling down, and everyone's put their NBA plays in by now. I'm scrolling down, I'm like, holy shit, everyone's on Knicks -5.5. And I didn't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. You just told me it's clearly a bad thing. Like, is there ever a world where you would ride that Knicks -5.5 after seeing 7 pros hammer?
No.
Never in a million years.
No. And I've done it. And I've already had my play in, and I'll even go in and make a post and say, guys, just know we're all dick riding the Knicks right now. And so that's probably a bad fucking thing. No, really. The reason I didn't take the Knicks was because of that. If you go find my link, or maybe I put that in my my live chat on SoBet, but I said, guys, be careful. Yeah. Motherfucking everybody's on this game. Like, everyone expected Knicks to win. Everyone did this in the whole world. Knicks and Denver money line. Yep. And Vegas was very smart to put it at -250 to give you almost even money. Anytime Vegas, you have a 2-game slate and they're giving you could take both favorites to just make even money, be scared. Be very scared.
Yeah, it's not to say it can't happen. They're favorites for a reason, but they are also in jeopardy. Not everything just happens the way that it should happen.
But listen, bookmakers are very smart about how they position spreads and lines. They are. I'm really good at reading lines. Do I always take my own advice? No, because the hardest bet in the world, like last night, I stayed off of hockey. I so wanted to take Florida. Florida lost 4 times in the regular season to Boston, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way these guys are going to, Boston just came off a tough series. They lost 4 games in a row. And everything in my heart was like, there's no way Florida's going to lose this game. And I said, but fucking something doesn't feel right. They're giving you Boston. That line should have been Florida -200, -225 for game 1. And it was right there. And they're giving you Boston. The books will eat +130.
Yeah,
they'll eat +130 for everyone to jump on a low line that everyone knows should happen. And look what happened.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. Great analysis.
But here's the other thing. One of the hardest things you could do in life when it comes to sports betting is put in a bet that you truly feel like. Last night I didn't do it. I wanted to take Boston. I just couldn't push the button, and I was like, I know this fucking game, Boston's gonna win, but everything else is telling me Florida. But so I had to walk away from it.
Yeah. And sometimes you just walk away, you move on to the next.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. We got what's up?
I got something to say. Nasty, you are everything that I've ever needed to hear in my sports betting career. like everything that I'm fucking hearing right now, man. Yeah. Cause for me, it's as simple as, oh, I like the Lakers tonight. All right, I'm gonna take $10 and just throw it on Lakers money line. Like that, like that's literally how I bet. And now, like, just hearing this talk about like units and just like the
there's more to it.
Yeah, like this, just like having a bankroll in general, and like how that's like the most important part about sports betting. It's like music to my ears. It's like, man, if you just follow that method.
And I mean, listen, try it sometime. Quit being a degenerate. Listen, what happens is I always ask people. Right. I have people that I used to, like, back in the day, I used to have like a true master class, right? Where I would like teach people, and I'd tell them, are you here to gamble or are you here to make money? There's a difference. There's a real difference in that. And a lot of times people can't be honest with themselves. Everyone's like, oh, I want to make money. No, you don't. You bet on every fucking game that comes out. That's not making, no, really. And listen, I used to be that guy. Yeah. I used to be in there.
Bro,
I used to be a crackhead sports bettor. Where like one game ends, you start looking for something else. Yeah. Listen, we all know who Trent is, right? Everyone knows Trent, the fade god. The guy's cute, right? He's cute. His little antics are cute when I say that. Mm-hmm. That's not, he's making content, guys. There's a difference between a handicapper, a sports bettor, a degenerate. This kid's making content.
Right.
He's just putting little whales and little fucking, I'm nuking this, why he falls in a swimming pool. It's cute, but in reality, it's not sustainable for 99.5%. Everyone else don't have a show like Trent. So I don't know what the fuck. If you follow Trent, you got to be or even if you fade Trent, it's still, you should mock the kid and then move on. Get away from his picks. Don't be fading. He's just making content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe you want to hop on like one of his first touchdowns on a Thursday night because those hit and then they go viral, and that's the world of the TikTok. But I'm sure he's just taking Houston Astros money line just with the flip of the coin. Or
now watch. Can you go pull up one of my SoBet posts? It's like probably 3 down.
Yeah, I got you.
See if you can pull it up really quick. But Nathan, just to try it one time. Start, watch, go down. Let me see. No. I think you got to go the other direction. Keep going. Let me see. I think I posted. Keep going. I don't know what the fuck that is. Where are we at? You almost got to get to where's the beginning of my day the other day? Where's the top of my feed?
So we got Bulls.
Okay. Yeah, go down one more. Let me see. Nope, one more. Right there. Nathan, do you see this?
Yeah.
These are my withdrawals from my run. What you guys need to learn to do is, and you could get off the screen now.
Pull out, motherfucker, pull out.
Pull out. Yeah, pull out. Pull out. Don't take the ugly girl home from the bar and fucking just bust all up in that bitch. You're going to be, you got to pull the fuck out. You guys need to learn to pull out. Anyway, you could get off this. But my point is that a true professional handicapper or someone that does sports betting, you start with a pot. You do bankroll management. You stay disciplined. You find you a slate of games you like. Follow somebody. And I'll get into that in a minute. But then you have to be disciplined to take your profits too. When you do good, take your profits out, reset yourself. So that, because what happens is once you build a big bankroll, you start betting more. You start betting heavier. It's okay to press your bet sometimes if you're really hot. But I mean, the true handicapper always pays himself. If you've seen that, I went hot. I pulled out close to 20 grand in the last 12 days. I mean, I got scorching hot, and you got to learn. Everyone needs to learn to pay themselves, or what's happening is that you're just here making content. You're just here to play the game. And CEOs of sports books are jacking off all over their secretary every time you guys just keep fucking putting in money all over the place. I'm telling you, they're fucking just smashing. They get happy when the CEO of MGM goes, hey, we just had some kid put in a 16-game parlay. They stand up and jerk off all over the place. All over the place. I'm being serious. You don't think so? They do.
So is Mitchell scoring 35 plus? No, bet MGM will jack off to that bet right there. I'll tell you that.
Do that one.
That's what Prize Picks has been doing to me for the past 2 years, bro.
And listen, Prize Picks is the worst too. Guys, try to stay. And listen, I'm human too, and I'm a fucking gambler, and I'm not always disciplined. 90% of your bet should be straight bets. 90, 95. You know what I mean? Once you start doing these fucking parlays,
just like one bet.
Don't you think Prize Picks and all the fantasy apps, they're kind of just a way to like have fun with it a little bit?
Yeah, If you're trying to make that your source of like, hey, I'm a sports bettor, I'm this. No, you're way behind the gun. Behind the gun.
You're donating $25 every night.
Nasty, when you say straight bets, do you mean just like one-leggers? Like
Knicks, like Boston minus 11.5, or a prop bet. Prop bets are fine, but just do one. Like handicap something.
Last night, Nathan, what did we do? We took, we threw it all together. You threw the Knicks. We threw the Knicks and the Nuggets together on top of a couple of other player props. Bad strategy, of course, but more just everyone and their mother was taking the Knicks Denver parlay, and that's just a recipe for failure, right?
Right. No, for sure. And if you are, listen, guys, I have a strategy to do a 2-teamer, which means, and a lot of guys who follow me understand this, is that you take a 2-teamer, right? Mm-hmm. But the game you really want to win is, let's say, a small favorite, maybe a minus 140. But then the second leg you take has to be a big favorite money line so that you can hedge, right? Yeah. You want to be able to see the game hedge, and maybe you have options now. You have a chance to middle, you have a chance to hedge, but most of the time it's straight bets for me or nothing.
So let me ask for example here. We got a prime example tonight. You got the Celtics versus the Cavs. You got OKC versus Dallas. If I'm in a universe where I like Dallas to win game 1 and I also like the Celtics to win game 1, and the Celtics are big favorites, would you take Dallas money line and pair it with Celtics money line, or do you think that's the worst bet in the history of life?
That's the worst bet in the history of life. It's so hard, guys. First of all, listen, first of all, sports have become so rigged, right? And listen, when I say the word rigged, I want you to understand that I'm trying to figure out who's rigging it. Whose hand is in the cookie jar? Now you have players. You just saw what's his name brother get life banned, right? So you have players. Now you've seen an NBA ref, right? He went to federal prison for rigging games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that, right? You don't know if the owners, right? You've heard stories of owners telling coaches to tank. Tanking, everyone's like, oh, everyone tanks. That's rigging. You're fucking with the outcome of a game. So what I'm trying to say is when you're trying to do parlays, you don't even know who in the fuck is rigged. We're already trying to figure out, are we getting fucked from the get-go? But now you're making it harder on yourself. Maybe I'm getting fucked twice now in one day. You know, why would you do that? You know what I mean? You guys sit there, you youngsters, sports bettors, you wake up in the morning, you pull your fucking pants down, and the first thing you do is let the CEOs fucking stroke you. You need to at least get to the end. No, get to the end of the day, have a drink with the motherfucker, and then get stroked at least. You guys are waking up putting 15-leg parlays from the get-go. No,
we're in here at 9 a.m. cooking up a morning jackpot, to say the least.
Yeah. Now listen, if you guys really say nasty, let's put in something that it's a plus 1,000. I'm down for that, but that can't be our most that's your sprinkle. That's your 10% of one unit. That's all right.
So if there's one play that collectively we walk away from this show today and we say this is hitting and we give it to the public, what is that play? Are we thinking NBA?
I got two.
You got two? That's right.
Let's go.
All right. I got Boston minus 11.5. I'm going to ride or die with that. If Boston can't fucking say, hey, we're here. We've been here for years. We can't get it done, but this is our year. And you guys just showed up with the fucking make-believe team and they don't win by 25 and they lose, then I guess I'll take it on the chin, right? I'll say, fuck it. These guys are bums and I'll get mad and talk shit. So I'm going to take Boston minus 11.5. I am leaning Mavs plus 3.5, but that's a lean. I haven't made a bet on that yet. But the other one, I'm going to go to baseball with Arizona, the pitcher, Zach Gallen. I think over 5.5 Ks, okay, 5.5 strikeouts. He's had 2 bad starts, and now he's playing the Reds on the road. The Reds they're averaging, as a collective, that lineup is about close to 30% K rate, okay? That's high. And then now you correlate a guy that's pretty good in baseball that's had 2 bad starts, right? But now he's on the road. I'm gonna take my chances. See how you got to find shit that kind of correlates with each other, and that's when you know you're handicapping. You're not just looking. I used to have an old friend. He's now passed, but he was an old school sports bettor. He used to say you have to have 5 points of positive contact on what you want to bet on before you fucking hammer a play. Meaning there should be like 5 check marks of something that correlates to why you want to take that bet. Nathan says I woke up and I want to suck off LeBron James and I took the Lakers is not one of them. That's not one of them. No, really. Or you tonight saying I love Jason Tatum. I want to see his fucking, his tattoo sweaty body. I'm going to take Jason Tatum. That's not going to cut it. You got to go, okay, defense. Why is this? Cavs, are they bad on the road? Momentum, strategy. Like there's so many things that you should be looking at.
Which team has the best player of all time versus just a casual?
Yeah, okay, that might be a positive. Now give me something else. Maybe the Cavs are they good on what's their defensive
Cavs are
rate?
coming off a game 7. The Celtics are coming off 7 days of rest.
Okay, that's a positive, but that's a negative. No, wait, that's a negative for the first half. A lot of people I'm seeing already when I woke up on all kinds of other sites are saying, take Boston first half. Maybe it hits, but I think a team that's coming off a game 7 against a team that's been sitting on their couch, I think it's going to be one of those games that Boston needs to wake up around the 3rd quarter, going into the 4th, and then they take over and win by 15. But yeah. I'm not going to listen, and I have a philosophy. And I know I'm trying to add in a lot of shit to you guys right here on one fucking show, but the dog is for the first half and the favorite is always for the full game. Always remember that. Try to always stick to that because most of the time that's usually what happens in life. So if you're handicapping a game, I don't care if it's football, basketball, whatever. The dog is always for the first half, because what happens is a dog will surprise a team that's the favorite. And what I mean that is that usually if you're a favorite, you're the better team. What happens is, if you ever played sports, good teams make adjustments at halftime. They say, okay, we didn't know they were going to do that. Let's make an adjustment. Let's come out. Let's do what we do. Right? Maybe it's a little wake up. It's human nature. Dogs always find a way to say, let's try this. Let's try this different. Let's add this lineup. They make changes to surprise the team that's not going to change anything. So just always remember that dog is for the first half and favorite is for the full game.
And I'll back you up and say that Boston's a team that against Miami, they came out real hot in game 3, 4, and 5 and just trying to make a statement, I think. But
well, yeah, because they lost game 2.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it could be a 2-point, 1 point. It could be a close game at halftime, and Boston could win by 37. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's how good Boston is. And I look at an 11.5-point spread, and normally I'm scared, but not for this Boston team, man.
Nasty. It just got bumped up to -12. Do you still like that?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to play nothing scared. What I'm thinking of is nothing scaring me between 10 and 13. Really, I mean, you got to remember the sports books. You guys both know what the sports books want, right? When they give you out a line,
they want you to take what
they want even money on each side. That's what they truly want, right? They're not telling you that they think Boston's going to win by 11. They're trying to figure out where can we set the line so that we get money on both sides, so that the loser pays the winner and we keep the juice. That's their true philosophy behind sports betting and all that. Now, does it always work? No, because, obviously sometimes shit gets hammered on one side and it wins. But then on the other token, it loses too. But anyway, the sports books, if the supercomputer algorithm, whatever they have, the $1 billion computer, shows that Boston's going to win by 17 when they simulate the game a million times, they can't set the line at 17 because they're not going to get action on both sides. So when I see a line in the playoffs that are close to like 11, 12, 10, nothing, I'm already knowing that this game is either going to get covered probably by, Cavs by +8 or whatever they cover, or it's going to be a blowout. I think like it's going to be 15, 16, 17. So, a half a point's not going to scare me.
I like it. Before we get out of here, I guess we can, quickly talk a little OKC versus Dallas and then who you got winning the Super Bowl next year. Very quick stuff, but sure. OKC versus Dallas. I think we've gotten to a point, I told Nathan this yesterday, where Luka Doncic is going to be the best player on the court in every series he plays, except for maybe against what it's going to take to beat Luka is a great team. It's going to take a great Denver, a great Minnesota, or a great Boston, right? It's not going to take an individual to go head to toe with Luka Doncic because Luka's just that good. Right. I analyze this series and I say, OKC, yes, they've been very hungry, but they're also young, inexperienced, and I think Luka Doncic is just going to will his way to the Western Conference Finals. There ain't nothing stopping the duo of Kyrie and Luka right now.
No, and I agree. I think it's Mavs in 7. I think OKC has enough get in them to maybe steal a game at Dallas back in. It's going to be a weird series, but I think at the end of the day, I agree with you. Young team, great. You got there. Now you have something to build on. Every team kind of goes through that, right? They get there and then they go, okay, at least we got here. And then the next year they get to the next round and they go, we got here. And then that's where you see like Boston or Dallas and all this shit. But I agree. But Dallas is not a super defensive team. I think Luka wants to score 45, 50 points every night. And so that's where you're going to get problems, right? You're going to have a lot of scoring, and I think it goes to game 7 and the refs find a way to get who has more cell power, Luka and Kyrie or a bunch of young kids just running around on OKC. Like, it's not even a big market, No, I'm fully in agreement with it. I think the one question mark with the Mavericks was, can they play defense? Can that
dynamic duo and the offensive juggernaut of Luka and Kyrie. Can they play defense? And I think they proved that in the first round, that there's a little bit of a different energy from regular season to playoffs. We've known this, but people were doubting whether a dynamic duo of Kyrie and Luka can go to a championship with the defense that they play. And I don't think that stops them. I think the best offense beats the best defense in this NBA right now, but I don't know. Who the hell knows right now? But anyways, Nasty, I got one final question for you. We'll switch the subject. We talked a lot of NBA. The NFL draft just happened. So with everything that's gone on here in the NFL since Kansas City's won it, and they're looking for the 3-peat, and Houston gets Stephon Diggs, and, you know, so many different things happening in the NFL with the offseason, and so many more things to have happen. You know, Tom Brady's going to come back, play for the Raiders, this, that. Point is, who you got who you got winning the Super Bowl next year? If you could give me a matchup, an NFC team, an AFC team, and who you got winning it.
I'll tell you this. The NFL has turned into the biggest, and it's sad for me to say this because I love the NFL, but it's turned into the biggest entertainment choke job. Rigged, like back in the day, there was always one rigged job, right? One rigged game. Now you don't know where in the fuck to turn. Like there's 8 games on a slate, and something weird is happening in every fucking game. And if you guys don't see it, then I don't know what the fuck, how to help you guys. And that's why, and everyone says, then why should we even bet on sports? Because you got to sniff out the rigness. That's why live betting is so important. I mean, they're good. They're doing good at disguising it, because at first it'd show you, hey, first quarter, we're all over the Kansas City Chiefs. But now they're waiting till the last, like, look at that Super Bowl. That Super Bowl felt like just, and tell me this, and I know I'm turning this into a rant, but how in the fuck does the Kansas City Chiefs win 3 Super Bowls without one holding call? Like, what the fuck is going? You know that, right? They hadn't had one holding call in 3 Super Bowls. Is that unbelievable or not?
They're like the Denver Nuggets of the NBA right now. My goodness.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So to tell you who's gonna win, I have no clue. You want to know the truth? I have no clue. And I know that's not even great for a show, but I can sit here and I'm being honest with you as a handicapper. I don't know. I guess you got to just follow the storyline of where the NFL's trying to take you. These, you know.
Well,
and here's the thing.
Last year, Baltimore was the 1 seed. They had just beaten San Francisco in that late game, late in the season, and they blew them out. And everyone's thinking Baltimore is going to take this thing home. And I sat calm, cool, and collected, understanding that I'm going to take Mahomes over Allen. I'm going to take Mahomes over Lamar, and I'm going to take Mahomes over whatever NFC team that comes out of the NFC in the Super Bowl. So I'm taking Mahomes to win the Super Bowl. And that was the philosophy this past year. And obviously maybe the Taylor Swift bullshit had something to do with it, but it felt like the script was Mahomes is just going to find a way to win. He was going to find a way to win in the year where he should not win this Super Bowl. And then this year it's like the 3-peat. It's like all these storylines continue to add up for Patrick Mahomes. It feels like it's Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady for the next 27 years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's Brady trying to catch, it's Mahomes trying to catch Brady, and nothing else matters in the NFL, and it's all just rigged for that storyline. No,
and you're right. And you know what? Who it kills is someone like me that is going like, there's no way the NFL. Like everyone told me, Mahomes, guy, it's Mahomes. It's his league. It's this. He's catching Brady. Everything you just told me, I knew it, and I felt that he was going to win, and it was going to be rigged for him, and I faded him every time. It cost me probably like $15,000 all the way through the playoffs. But I kept fading the storyline, and I was like, there's no way that the Taylor Swift shit, you know, Mahomes doesn't even have a receiver. No one could catch the ball. And yet somehow they find a way to win. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, and with help, the refs are all over Mahomes. Like, you wouldn't believe it.
Always. They're always all over Patrick Mahomes. But Nasty, we appreciate you for coming on here, and make sure everyone goes and checks out Nasty, and more importantly on SoBet.io. They got the app now too as well. Use code Jackpot to sign up, and make sure you're telling all the Nasty's plays, everyone's plays on SoBet. And you heard it here first. I guess the Mavericks are winning. I guess the Celtics are winning by 11.5, and the Nuggets season is cooked.
Zach Gallen also.
Zach Gallen pays over K's today.
Arizona pitcher over 5.5.
Yes, sir.
Nathan, you have any final words? This is a very special moment for you. You could ask Nasty
Yeah,
literally anything
bet.
in this moment right now.
No, I got a lot of optimism for the future now. Definitely.
Now here's the thing, just so you guys know, I'm in the middle of writing the sports betting Bible, right? Nasty, the sports betting Bible. And I'm putting everything that I know, everything you should do, you shouldn't do, all that. And I'm going to be publishing it on Amazon bookstore. And it's going to be very cheap. I think it's just something, it's going to be like a good guide for you youngsters. And it's going to be vulgar. It's going to be talking about don't suck off the fucking CEOs. It's going to be about, it's not for the faint of heart. So if you're soft, don't touch the book, because I'm going to tell it how it is.
I like that.
Fella, I think a lot of people, a lot of youngsters out there are going to appreciate something like that, because Nathan just learned more in an hour conversation with you than he did his entire 20 years of education. So that's going to do it for the Morning Jackpot, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you subscribe to the SoBet YouTube channel. Make sure you go sign up for SoBet. Use code Jackpot. Hit the like notifications. Leave a comment and show some love. That's going to do it.